We are in the pool mechanical room at Mount St. Mary's College today, January 26th, and we're going to replace / repair some 6-inch chlorinated water piping. I believe this supplies the pool with water to make sure the level is high enough, but I'm not a pool guy, so I don't know. All I do know is this is pipe. These are flanges, I know about those. And these are leaking, which I also know about, and we can fix it. So with that being said, let's get started. We have a butterfly valve with 2 companion flanges, and as you can see, companion flange at the top is very cracked, and we're gonna remedy that. But this is glued on with not a whole lot of space, so we're going to cut this pipe, glue on a 6-inch coupling, 6-inch 90, companion flange with the butterfly valve, and this reducing flange here on top of the pump. So before I go all buck wild and start cutting into a 6-inch line and flooding the whole pool mechanical room, I wanted to be sure that the system was not still under pressure and we missed an isolation valve somewhere. So I actually drilled a 1/2-inch hole in the little space between the 2 flanges, in between both ISO valves, and I opened the top one to kind of decide whether or not we're still under pressure, and we decided that we aren't. You can see the chlorinated water splashing me in the eye. So now that we decided we're safe to cut, the next clip will be me cutting into the 6-inch line to start getting rid of some of the old stuff. Here's the kid and I unbolting the old stuff. The top flange was cracked, that's why we're doing this job in the first place. Unbolting the old stuff allows us to make a cut on the top horizontal section of pipe, and then Ian can just grab it and swing it out of the way. This way we're not getting sprayed in the face with water.
The ingenuity right here.
Here we go. Whoa! That didn't work. A lot more than we thought. Gloves are wet.
No more gloves.
No more gloves. God damn, it stuck up on me. I think it's working.
Yeah.
Ready? Nice!
Fully open, huh?
Fully open, baby! This is the rig that we ended up kind of making to direct the water into these buckets. We had to take a second to kind of figure out what everything was pipe-like and what valves to turn off, but we finally figured it out. This is open and fully drained. We're gonna make a cut right on the right side of that black tape, I think, by this nice 2x4 support. I'm gonna glue a coupling on, a new 90, come down into a new butterfly valve with a couple companion flanges, and attach it to this reducing flange. That's the plan. We'll see if we can stick to it. Like I said in a previous clip, if the pipe was more full with water, right about now is where I'd be getting absolutely blasted with water right in my face. But because we unbolted and cut that vertical section of pipe free, as soon as I finish my cut, Ian can grab it and take it right out of the way. We were lucky that we didn't have a lot of water in there, but if we did, I could definitely have foreseen me getting super wet.
Let me zoom in on that cut. Wow.
Pre-planning is always important, but it's extra important when you're working with pipes of larger diameters. If you don't make sure you plan ahead, then you'll glue a joint first that's going to hinder your progress in the future, and you can screw yourself up in the long run. So make sure that you think about everything that you're going to do before you do it, because with these larger pipes and fittings, you really only have one shot to get it right. You can see that we're getting everything stacked up, and we're going to make measurements here soon. After we got the stuff all mocked up, we got a couple of measurements, cut a couple small pieces of 6-inch, and we primed the flange and primed the pipe. As I put it in there, I make sure I use enough glue, and I also give it a 1/4 to 1/2 turn rotation. That just makes sure the glue is evenly distributed. Make sure you don't have any dry spots where a leak could occur. And then I try to always wipe clean after to make sure that I don't have any mess. Okay, progress update. We have our butterfly valve installed. We have it bolted up. We had to go back to the supply house and get another gasket kit because we were short 8 bolts for the top flange. Once we get that bolted, actually, I'm sorry, my plan is to get this temporarily secured, measure all my pieces, then I'm just gonna slide this whole assembly into the coupling I'm gonna glue here, and then I can bolt this up, and that'll be finished. If I glue everything up here, it's going to be really hard to swing everything into place. So that's my plan. Hopefully it works out. So I've got the 90 mocked up to the coupling that I installed. The coupling I put on, it's drying. In order to get my measurement between the two, I'm just going to go face to face. This is about 1 3/4 inches. And I'm going to add the makeup distance of the pipe into the fitting, which is 3.5 inches for the 90 and 3 inches for the coupling. So I'll add all those numbers together, and I'll get my piece for in between. Once I have that, I'll temporarily slide this 90 over that piece, and I'll do the same thing for the distance between the 90 and the companion flange. If there is a freehand cutting with the Sawzall competition going on anywhere, you guys got to let me know, because I'm going to enter. 6-inch pipe, pretty dang good. I don't usually carry 12-inch long Sawzall blades. I'm not even sure who carries them, but this is a 9-inch blade, but this is 6-inch pipe, so the blade doesn't cut through the pipe in one motion. So the trick is to kind of rotate the pipe as you're cutting, and if you're careful and somewhat skilled, you can get a pretty accurate straight cut with the Sawzall blade. And I kind of rotate the pipe with my foot and keep a straight cut going to make sure that I don't have any wonky edges or anything like that, and it worked out pretty well. This is when you finally get to find out if your measurements are correct. This is usually the most difficult part, and a little bit of pre-planning is required to get everything to go smoothly. But we're gluing up the coupling and the piece of pipe, and Ian and I will both push together on this to get it to seat inside the coupling. PVC tends to slide out away from the joint, and you You can see if you look closely, we actually get that joint to make up another 3/8 of an inch or so, which is the distance we needed to get that flange to perfectly meet up with the butterfly valve. And without both of us pushing on it, we would not have got it. So everything was good. Still needed a little bit of finesse to get that flange to bolt up, but we did get it. Once we're sure all the glued joints are cured and ready for water, we're going to turn on the valves that we originally turned off to isolate the system. Once everything is full, we'll go ahead and power up both pumps and put the system under pressure. We'll check for leaks and make sure that everything is okay. And at that point, we can give it our seal of approval, and I'll show us turning on the pumps here in 1 second. We had a bunch of water flowing out of this coupling, which was making me nervous about the integrity of the glue joint. So what we thought to do was leave that valve down there closed. We opened this one up here, and then we removed this valve and the gauge and this side bleed port, and that allowed the water that was coming in, backfeeding from this way, to drop down and go out onto the floor, so that we were able to dry out that side of the 6-inch and get a good glue joint. So that worked out really nice. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done. 6-inch PVC repair, a couple of companion flanges, a new butterfly valve. We had to modify the bolts that came with the gasket kit, because this is actually tapped, this butterfly valve, so that it doesn't through bolt, it actually threads into here, which is kind of a pain in the ass, actually. I would have preferred it to be the other way, I think, where this had nothing and you just bolted through both flanges, but that's not the way it was, so we thought on our feet and made it work. 6-inch coupling to a 90, down to the reducer, into the pump. Nice primer joints. Looks beautiful. Just a little bit of purple. Everything's up and running, no leaks. What's the kid think?
Wet gloves.
Yeah, we got wet about 4 minutes into the start of this gig.
Gloves on, and then we got wet, and that's it. I've been doing no gloves.
We underestimated how much water was going to come out, but now we'll know for next time. All right, thanks for watching.